Hey guys, what is up? Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope that it's able to bring you some kind of value or insight in some way. This is the first in a series of 5-Minute Fridays, and this one is on belief. So let's get right into it. Hope you enjoy. Belief is something that we hear about a lot, probably too much. But in this video, I hope to demonstrate how our beliefs do really have more of an impact than just on the thoughts of our mind. Belief ultimately breaks down into three different things. The first one is our belief in others, the second one is others' belief on us, and thirdly is our belief of ourselves. Let's take a closer look at the first one, our belief in others. It's kind of crazy to think that our belief in someone else might play a role in the outcome of their lives. There's a quote that is often attributed by Wolfgang von Goethe that says, "If you treat an individual as he is, he will remain as he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be." Now, this sounds really nice and it does roll off the tongue, but I pose the question, does this have any backing in science? And if it did, couldn't we just say, lie to a school teacher and tell them that their students are actually smarter than they are? And that is actually what happened in the 1960s when Dr. Robert Rosenthal, a psychologist out of Harvard, posed that exact same question. He thought, if you give students an aptitude test and then lie to the teacher about the results, well, would that student's academic performance change at all? So he and his team went to Spruce Elementary School in southern San Francisco and gave the students an aptitude test that they called the Harvard Test of Inflicted Acquisition. They told the teacher that these tests measured if a student was about to bloom academically, and then lied about 3 kids in each classroom who actually scored at the average, but they told the teachers that they scored at the top. Rosenthal and his team went back to the school and re-administered a simple aptitude test, and the kids who scored average, but the teachers thought they were geniuses, ended up jumping a full letter grade. They improved quite a lot too. It was more noticeable in the younger years than it was in the older years, but it was still noticeable. The next aspect of belief is the belief that others place upon us. Jim Rohn's quote, "You're an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with," is one that's gaining a lot of traction lately. And this makes sense. As human beings, we are social in nature, and we tend to blend into the surroundings. This has seen a lot of documentation in recent years, especially with college dorm roommates, and has thus been given the name the roommate effect. The roommate effect essentially states that when people live together, they begin to share habits with one another. This plays a role on social habits, exercise habits, and even can play a direct role on our mood. In fact, in Nicholas A. Christakis' book, Connected, he states, "Our feelings are contagious. Each happy friend a person has increases that person's probability of being happy by 9%, and each unhappy friend decreases it by 7%. I particularly love this quote because it demonstrates that a positive influence can have a higher degree of impact than a negative influence, and I think that's really cool. I know that for me personally, transitioning from being an awkward teenager to having a pretty decent level of confidence was almost completely because I started hanging with the new friend group. They were all smart and athletic and all around just really good people. And that totally changed things around for me. And I'm very thankful for that. In fact, one of them is getting married tomorrow and I am super stoked for the wedding. So yeah, basically put yourself around good people and allow their expectations to lift you. It works. And finally, and probably most important, is the belief that we place on ourselves. This one is probably one of the hardest ones to change because we're all living in our own minds all the time. And sometimes it can really be hard to break that pattern. But I think that the late Chester Bennington, who I personally have been deeply inspired by, said it best.
Basically, I think that, everyone in the world is capable of living outside the role or beyond the roles that they place themselves in, no matter what it is. You're not just a dad. You're not just a banker. You're not just a brother or a son or a convict. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone is bigger, much bigger, infinitely bigger than the roles they place themselves in.
R.I.P. Chester. And I think that Chester is basically bang on with this one, in the sense that we often live in a box with walls that we have made ourselves and we put them in place. The human body, the human mind, they're both incapable of doing incredible things. An incredible example of this is David Goggins. David Goggins, a Navy SEAL who, when he made up his mind to raise money for his fellow soldiers, he had to enter a 100-mile race to be completed in 24 hours or less. At the time, he weighed in at 250 pounds, and to top it off, he had 4 days to train. At the end of mile 70, yes, 70, he had hairline fractures throughout his shins, and his ankles were so swollen that they stopped working. After sitting down and essentially being paralyzed in pain, he realized that if he wanted any chance at being able to raise that money for his fellow men, he'd have to keep on going. But he ended up getting back up and walking first and then running around and finishing 100 miles in less than 24 hours. Now, obviously this is a very extreme scenario, but I think it's very important to acknowledge the outliers because they're the ones who show us what is possible. It's just like Roger Bannister in the seemingly impossible 4-minute mile. And after he ran that in 1954, there have been 10 recorded high school kids who've also ran the sub 4-minute mile. So don't place boundaries on yourself, simple as that. And that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you're able to pull something out of it that may be of use to you in your own life. Feel free to share this video with your friends, or if something particular in this video did resonate with you, please feel free to leave a comment below. But until next time, guys, have an amazing weekend. Again, thank you so much for checking out this video. Always be willing to reinvent yourself every day, and I'll see you next time.